All right, wow, what is going on, everyone? Hope you're having an awesome night. I know it's a bit late, those on the East Coast, I guess 10 p.m. But let me pull up this really quick. Let me pull up at least futures. We'll look at futures right now. Let people jump in, then we'll start diving through a bunch of stuff I want to talk about. Lots of new developments, lots of new pieces of information that I think a lot of people need to understand in terms of especially clearing up the whole deal with why brokers stop you from being able to buy a lot of stocks today. Why did that happen? Kind of have some clarity there. We had some interviews with both the Robinhood CEO, I'll kind of sum those up, and the Webull CEO. So I want to explain kind of what I got out of those, took some notes as to what happened. But all things considered, the Robinhood CEO was a lot less transparent with how the process behind the scenes work. And the Webull CEO really came in and it was awesome how he cleared it up. If you want to go watch that yourself, I highly recommend it. Go into benzinga.com or whatever and look up Webull CEO interview. I'm telling you, it might be on Twitter even too. That was a great piece to look at. Dogecoin doubled. That Dogecoin's running up. Where is it? I got Dogecoin right here. Oh my God. It's at 6 cents. It was just at 4 cents last time I saw. Absolutely insane. I had Dogecoin. I think I still have some. This is nuts. This is just, I don't even know, but again, right? When the markets close, here's one of those things too, for those who are in early, I hope you guys are in, I hope you guys are hitting the thumbs up button. That's all I ask. But for those who are in early, this is like one of the biggest things I want to talk about that I'm going to be going into tomorrow. I'm personally going to be doing is I'm going to start grabbing some Bitcoin stocks because I think this is showing us, right, how when you have a regulated market, right, you can see how it's rigged against us. All aside, I'm not the Bitcoin expert. I don't know how Bitcoin, I don't know everything about how Bitcoin works and how crypto works, right? But I think you're going to see a lot of people running up Dogecoin this weekend because the market's closed, stock market's closed. At the same time, Bitcoin, crypto in general, I think is going to have a mega surge right now. We kind of had, let's go to the Webull chart really quick and type in and look at Bitcoin. Because what we had here was, and we're breaking out. So this is a very bullish sign for me, Bitcoin wise. So what we had is this push up to 41,000, right? Then this kind of pullback, but now we have this rough downtrend line and we're breaking out of this pullback. This downtrend, which is a bullish sign. So I am liking Bitcoin for a run, and it likes to run on the weekends, especially when it's been hot. It likes to go on the weekends. So we had support around 30,000. I think Bitcoin is going to go. I would recommend, in terms of crypto, I would recommend Coinbase as be like my, I guess, top recommendation. That probably would be the best place to go. I know people buy it on Robinhood. You can buy Dogecoin on Robinhood. Don't even get us started on Robinhood. But I guess that can segue us into kind of at least talking about that aspect before we start talking about some other stocks and stuff. Tomorrow is going to be nuts. I'm telling you, it's going to be nuts because Robinhood is now apparently going to allow people to trade everything. They're not going to stop you from buying. So what happened today? Well, today we saw what looks like a lot of shorts getting their win. And what I was saying too on the earlier stream, and even on my second channel, I talk about on some other videos, what happened. Look at GME today. Let's pull it up. Here's today, right? Thing hit $514 in the pre-market hours. It then hit 112 during the at some point during the day, right? The late morning hours. You better bet that those who were short, the hedge funds, they won. They got their fill because they were over leveraged, right? You know that over 100% of the shares of GameStop were short. What does that mean? That they're using leverage, okay? They're not just going and short, they're going big. And so they blew this thing down and they just took it down. Once they realized, hey, you can't buy it on Robinhood. You can't buy it on TD. You can't buy it on Webull anymore. They took it down. And to clear that up, what happened with these brokerage firms? Why did they stop? Well, actually it stems from the clearing firm. So these brokers, they have a clearing firm that essentially when an order goes through, they have to process this thing through the clearing firm, and I guess oversimplifying it. And then that clearing firm, the way Webull's CEO described it, their clearing firm, which is Apex, and Robinhood uses Apex too, but they have another one as well. There's more to that story, which we haven't gotten more clarity on that, which the Robinhood CEO didn't explain in his interviews today. So you go to the clearing firm. The clearing firm has to wait 2 business days, and they have to pay that cash, right, for that trade in order for you to get that sell at that price, right? So there's a lot of back end stuff that goes on with these brokerage. And when a stock is so volatile and there's the potential for the stock to crash, right? They need to have they need that money, and they have to kind of restrict this, because when there's billions of shares being traded, that's not good for them, and it makes it a lot more difficult for them, especially with a volatile stock. That's why that happened. Webull CEO explained he got the call and he couldn't do anything. Like, he was pissed, but that's what they had to comply with. Robinhood CEO, instead of saying, "Hey, we got the call and we couldn't have these 3 securities traded," well, what they did was they actually banned the purchase of 13 securities. And he made it a point saying, well, everything else was available, but you couldn't buy 13 securities. So what does that mean? When everybody knows that a lot of the retail who is involved in this right now, and it's the easiest thing to do, Robinhood app was like the #1 trending app past couple of days. Well, what is that telling you? Everybody who's new here, the new money coming in to get these stocks to go, a lot of that, okay, I understand there's more to it, but a lot of that was Robinhood. A lot of that was Robinhood traders, people who are new. Seeing stuff on social media, Wall Street bets, it got blown up, beyond proportions that we've ever seen before. And it went nuts. And so when that happens and they knew that they can't buy, it's a one-way trade. It's a one-way trade. And so they pull it down, and they crush it. And I think we may potentially have seen some covering. And look at the after hours. I mean, don't worry about some of these wicks, but GameStop pushing up in the after hours, up 61%. So I wouldn't be surprised for a bigger gap up tomorrow and a potential move even higher. Wouldn't be surprised if we hit a new high on GME tomorrow. Wouldn't be surprised. Not saying buy it, just saying that I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happens. Just nuts, absolutely nuts. So Dogecoin is running up. It's up over 5 cents now, which is crazy. And one more thing to talk about too is we'll go over a lot of things. Futures right now down, but I mean, here's another aspect to things to take into account, right? When you are going into a short position, right, and you are like for example, we look at the overall market. Let's look at SPY, the S&P 500. When you're going into a short position, right, and you are over leveraging into the short. So let's look at SPY the past couple of days. Look what happened yesterday, right? This is telling you, and here's my idea behind this. There's more stuff to drive it. Of course, we had resistance up around this 385 area. Yeah, I understand that. But we pulled back, right, throughout most of the day. This, in my opinion, potentially could be from those going short who need to have that leverage, who need to kind of avoid, right, the margin call, because they're trying to short GameStop, they're trying to short AMC. They are going short. And so they got to sell their other securities and take from other stocks so that they can bolster their position and bolster that cash standing. And so they can kind of essentially afford to go into this position. And then today, what do we potentially see is potentially the market recovered as those short positions were covered, and that cash was then redistributed back into other securities, other stocks. That is potentially a broad view idea of what may have happened. Roughly, I guess, a grand scale. There's a lot more going on, I understand that, but that's kind of my theory as to what's been going on. So, overall market, yeah, it's selling off a little bit, but it's not too bad. Until we're down 1.5%, then I would get more concerned, but we'll see what happens. VIX is up, futures are down. I mean, not terribly, but they're down. NASDAQ the tech is down the most. S&P about 0.5%, Dow just under 0.5% as of right now. And then here's one more thing that I want to pull up as well. This is actually really cool, really interesting to see. So reading this, okay, this last piece right here, this is crazy. Dear Acting Attorney General. So you go to the last paragraph. This is nuts. This is from PJ Matlock on Twitter. If you guys don't know him, he's actually an awesome trader. He's a part of one of the big free discords out there, Atlas, and there's a lot of these communities right out there these days. Wall Street Bets, you have these Discord communities, and it's been going on, and I'll explain. This stuff has been going on for a long time. It's just on a much broader scale right now, and so things are being absolutely blown out of proportion. But Melvin Capital Management is owned by the parent company Citadel, which according to Bloomberg gave Robinhood roughly 40% of their revenue. Knowing the involvement Citadel has with Robinhood, it is clear that the actions taken today were motivated by anti-competitive reasons, not for concerns of volatility claimed by Robinhood. And we didn't get Webull CEO came on and explained everything perfectly, saying, hey, here's what happened. I wasn't happy. It sucks. Here's what happened. And here's why. Okay? Robinhood CEO couldn't explain it. They was asked questions and he would just kind of work his way around it. Okay? That's what happened. Because of this blatant conflict of interest and obvious monopolistic activity, I am calling on an immediate investigation by the U.S. Department of Justice into Robinhood and the hedge fund of Citadel LLC. This is about to get potentially blown up even bigger. So this is going to be nuts to see what happens. But that is crazy to see. And we also kind of knew that. But again, think with this. Robinhood, when you submit your orders, how are they making some money, right? What are they doing? They're selling your order data. They're selling that data to someone else, to Citadel, the parent company. Citadel has that data. So what could they do? They can get in before you. They know what's coming before it happens. And it's all on a very, very super crazy time scale because it's happening so fast. Because from the second you swipe up on your phone, right, you think your order goes through, but technically that data was distributed to somebody else. And so they knew it was coming. So they could get in before, there's a lot of manipulation that goes on. This is stuff that was talked about, that is known, but it's now being brought to light. And at the same time, this is one of those things I think is nuts. At the same exact time, what's happening here is there was a game, and we talk about on the channel. For those who are new, I appreciate you guys. Hit the thumbs up button while you're here. This is awesome. But for those who aren't new, we explain, right? We go over strategy. We talk about stuff. We talk about stocks every Saturday. We talk about a lot of this stuff. And we're talking about stocks. We're talking about things. And we're trying to develop our own strategies to beat the market because that's what we're trying to do as traders. And over the past, 17 months, I've been showing you guys my account, and that's what I've been doing. Now, of course, you have your ups, you have your downs, and this week I'm about even. I'm barely green this week, barely. I know some people have been killing it, but I haven't been doing it. I've been sticking to generally my strategies, and so I'm barely green because guess what? The whole game has been flipped on its head, and so what traditionally worked is now not working, and so I'm all for it. I'm not saying anything again. I love sticking it to kind of the way it's been done. I like it, but we have to just make sure going forward, if you're someone who's new, if you're getting into stocks now, understanding what's going on, take some time to understand this and just reassess. I'm not looking to be going massive on positions. I'm not looking to bet the house, bet the farm on stuff. We'll see how this goes, and then we'll have to adapt and adjust like always. You always adapt, you always adjust. This is now not going anywhere. And so you learn the game and the game's rigged. So you learn the game, and now now that the rigged component of the game is being flipped on its head. So now we got to learn the different game. And it's fine. That's it. You adapt or die. That's how it works, right? And so that's the thing. People talking about Webull, Robinhood has their IPO soon. That's going to, if you haven't shorted a stock in your lifetime, that could be the opportunity. Unless they can come out and clear things up. I feel for it because what Robinhood recently did too is for some, I didn't get any of this access, but for some, influencers or for some people, what they did was they gave them a special link. Say, hey, we want to compete with Webull and give people for free stocks. Now, the actual way they're doing it is that you sign up, you get a free stock, which is probably like a $2 stock, let's be honest, right? And then what happens is you have to connect your bank account, and then like February 1st or something like that, I think around there, you get the other 3. So that's what's happening. They're probably all going to be like $3 stocks. They'll say between 250 and X 100, whatever. They're probably super cheap. They're trying to compete with Webull because Webull's crushing them probably on the new signups, and rightfully so. Not to mention, Webull, we're looking at this stuff right here. Let's look at GameStop again, okay? Webull, if you don't have pre-market hour access and after-hour market access like you do with Webull, I don't know why you are using that platform. I don't understand. For me, especially with the stocks I trade, mostly penny stocks, and so that's another component. This stuff happens all the time in penny stocks. It's now being brought to light with bigger name stocks like GameStop. But did anyone talk about the SPI run? Like, did this get the attention? Look at this, SPI Energy. The stock went from literally like $1 to $46 in one day off of one press release, okay? And look at this company. We pull up their website. I mean, this is like a blurry image. Like, I don't know. You got to look a little bit deeper. Obviously, there's more here, but this is just like a very basic website. I don't know. I don't like it. This isn't a $46 stock, right? Just on the surface. Of course, there's more to it. I understand that. But this happens, right? This stuff happens, and it has happened for a long time. But now we're bringing this to light with bigger name stocks, and it's getting more, it's getting more serious. So, it's a crazy game. I completely understand, but this is just, I don't even know how. We're going to have to see it. This is going to play out. Who knows how this is going to play out at the end of the day. I have to say, though, AMC, GME, a lot of these stocks, they look primed to go again tomorrow. They do. And then that's the other thing. I feel so bad for people who lost all this money because they couldn't buy or they couldn't sell. And the thing is, here's what also happened with brokers like Webull. And I was getting to that point of like the pre-market hours. So let me go back to GME really quick and talk about. If you don't have a broker that has access to pre-market hours, it doesn't have to be Webull. I'm not here to say, okay, use my link down below and get 4 free stocks when you deposit $100. That's awesome if you want to do that, but at the end of the day, go use a different broker. I believe Trade Zero, but I think there's actually fees between 4 a.m. and 7 a.m. Go find another broker, do your research, find a broker that works for you, but get access to hours where it's not just from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. with Robinhood. Get access to 4 a.m. So you can, like what I have is, what I always do is I buy a stock and I immediately set my sell order. So if something happens in the pre-market hours and it pops up on news or whatever, for whatever reason. So for example, somebody could have bought GME yesterday before the close at like 250. You could have put a sell order for your shares or half your shares or all your shares literally at $500. If it doubles, you know what? I'll take me out. If it doubles, I'll take my money and I'll run. You could have made literally 100%. And you could have been sleeping the entire time that happened. So that's why I recommend it. And the thing is, once this happens, it's gone. Like it goes to 5:15, but you wake up and you try to sell, at like 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. Sorry, you missed it and you didn't have access to that. So I just want people to understand that there's more that goes on behind the scenes. There's more than just the regular 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. At the same time, what also happens come 9:30 a.m. is everyone comes in and is trying to buy, trying to sell at the exact same time. What are all these brokers have to deal with? They have to deal with this massive volume surge. They can't handle that. And everybody trying to go from Robinhood, okay, I can't buy. Okay, well, let me go get Webull. Boom, they go to Webull. Now Webull starts crashing because they got so many new users coming in and you can't trade on Webull. So it's like a whole absolute mess. And I don't think it's going to get any better tomorrow. Generally, Fridays are lower volume days, but it's just getting bigger and bigger. I don't see it. I honestly don't see it happening. I don't see it ending. And we'll see what happens ideally with this weekend going over. But that brings me to my point for the weekend. I think Bitcoin is going to make a move. We're seeing Dogecoin. Okay, cool. We don't need to look at that. Oh my gosh, Dogecoin at 8 cents. That's just insane. That's nuts. Okay, now it's at 6. But this thing is blowing up right now. Okay, this is extremely volatile right now. I can't believe that. That's insane. So what I'm thinking here, and look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's at 34. Okay, I'm thinking we're going to see, because now, okay, number one, the market's closed. So where's everyone going to go? Let's go to Dogecoin. Like, let's go to Bitcoin. You probably can't. I don't know the details about Dogecoin versus Bitcoin in terms of the manipulation upon how quickly you can move a price. Seems like Dogecoin you can move it a lot faster. It's cheaper. It costs less, and you get enough people on it. Yeah, I'm sure you can move it. But with all this said, I think Bitcoin is going to make a big move. And so, what do you want to start to do? I don't know about Doge being a legitimate buy. I think it's a meme buy. So it's a meme buy, and so personally, right, if you want to ride the wave here, then this could go for a lot more, especially with the weekend coming up. I'm telling you, with the weekend coming up, don't doubt the power of the weekend. That's going to be big, because what else are you going to do? You can't go and buy AMC, buy GameStop. You can't do it anymore. But you can trade crypto at any time. It hit 1 cent. It hit 10 cents. It hit 11 cents. This is nuts. But you can go in and you can trade, crypto. So this is going to be potentially big for those. This could go. I could see Dogecoin hitting over $1. I would not be surprised. Would not be surprised. And there are people who have had loads of Dogecoin, loads, and they're up massive on this. This is insane. I think it's gonna keep going. But just of course, understand. Again, don't be putting your entire account in it, because if you're looking for a Dogecoin, it makes 100% move. Awesome. You make 100%. But you can also lose like 100. You can lose like half of it in no time. So just be careful to that degree. But that said, right, I'm looking at Bitcoin stocks. I'm looking at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's at 34.1. I'm looking at Bitcoin tomorrow. That's my biggest, play. So what are the Bitcoin stocks? I'll pull up my Bitcoin. There's more, but I'll pull up the Bitcoin watchers. I know it's a little bit small. The ticker symbol will be up in the top right and even the top left. I'll talk about it really quick. NXTD, it started to push up today. NXTD is one of those on the list. Let's say EBON pushed up today, so it got attention. Boom. Mara, one of those stocks. I had Mara at $2.50. I traded Mara at 60 cents. And I recently, a couple months ago, had it at $2.50. This thing hit over $29. Insane. Riot. Boom. This is going to go as well. MFH. Kind of a sneaky play. Here's why I like MFH, okay? Let's pull it up. MFH. Boom. Boom. And boom. Okay, so this is actually sitting at a relative low, right? It's at the 50 SMA support, the 50 period simple moving average, whether you care about that or not. I understand that a lot of people probably don't. But there's only 3 million shares available. You get enough volume in MFH, which the way things are going, it won't take people long to find this stock. You get enough volume in MFH, this thing could double, triple, go to $10 like nothing. The thing hit up to nearly 6 intraday. It moves quick, so be careful. But if you're able to get in, I would say even under 350, your downside risk is like 50 cents max, realistically. If it goes below 3, I wouldn't want to hold it there. But your downside risk is like 50 cents max. MFH is one of those, crypto-related plays. I like it. Outside of that, let's see, Fun, PHUN is one as well. Even DXF, I'm not even sure where that came from. I forget if I added that or not. It must have some ties. WKEY has ties to Bitcoin or has ties to crypto. DBW does as well. They have ties to EV crypto as well. And then XNET, there's other ones too, but those are the ones at least I have on the top of my head, right there on my little quick watch list. So I'm looking for the ones that haven't moved, and I'm looking for the laggers tomorrow. And I'm loading up, not loading the boat. I still have my risk management in place. I'm not stupid, right? That's how I trade. I'm not going to blow it, right? But I'm preparing, and of course, you go over the weekend, anything could happen. So you always run the risk of Bitcoin crashing or crypto crashing in general over the weekend, and then you're left with this stock that was bought because you think crypto is going to go up, and it doesn't, and the stock could very well come down very hard. So we'll see. HUSA is an interesting stock. It popped today. I am not in HUSA. I actually traded it today for a day trade, and actually I was in a swing trade, and I sold most of my shares up here a couple of days ago. Then I reloaded it today as I saw BDR was going nuts. So I saw that same sector, HUSA hit over 3. I sold up around 3, and that's how I played HUSA. And realistically, I had a couple little wins here and there, throughout this week. Even SNDL I played last night into this morning. I sold it all way too early, but again, a couple little wins is what kept me alive at the end of the day, because everything else, all my other swings, unfortunately, have been just ticking down little by little. They're just kind of ticking down. But why? What's my theory behind why that's happening? And a lot of, if you're swing trading stocks, here's why I don't think it's a good idea to sell these stocks. If you have something else that you feel like you can make more money sooner, then yes. But if you're in stocks, you're in SPACs, you're in a swing trade, you're in Clove, COLV, a lot of people are in that, right? I don't see any reason to sell COLV down here. No reason to sell it. And that goes for a lot of other swings that I'm in and that I might have talked about in past videos and streams. Even if it's sitting down here, it's technically building up around the 13s, in the mid to upper 13s. It hit close today at 14, after hours at 14.28. This right here, in my opinion, is big money moving out of these stocks so that they can go and short something else, and they have that money. They can actually come up with the leverage, right? Come up with the margin requirements to go short something else that is up inflated, like the GMEs, game stocks, whatever. Whether they get blown up tomorrow, next week, whatever, I don't care. but they're getting out of that stuff, and they're that's kind of how I see it. And so they're going to come back. They're going to circle back to these stocks. There are a lot of stocks that are undervalued. So this is the time to look for those undervalued trades, stocks, swings, whatever you want to do, and start to kind of accumulate a little side pocket of that stuff. I think it's going to be big. We'll see. Everyone is going nuts about Dogecoin. Everyone is going absolutely nuts. Oh my gosh, this is insane. You know what? I'm gonna on my phone. I'm just gonna grab. I mean, let's see. What is it at? Do I have any left? Let's see. I used to have some. I don't even know what I have anymore. I have no idea. This is insane. This is nuts. Oh my, it's 23 cents. I thought, okay, if it goes to 10 cents, that would be insane, right? This is nuts. Dogecoin. I mean, Bitcoin is pushing up. Dogecoin's pushing up. Wow. I can't. It's like you just can't even. I think this is gonna go. This could go to $1. This could go more than that. I don't know. For all we know, what is it at? Is it really at? Oh my. Wow. Okay, so I'm seeing now it's fluctuating a lot. It's fluctuating a lot. I'm just gonna put a lottery amount that I'm literally willing to lose into this, and that's it. So that's all I'm gonna do. But if it goes to the moon, then it goes to the moon, right? That's at least how I see it. That's insane. Wow. All right. Let's see. This is nuts. And I would recommend also with like crypto and stuff, you could buy it on Robinhood. Again, that's a touchy subject these days. Go to Coinbase. Go to there's even BlockFi. There's so many other brokers out there or places you can go and buy crypto. Go to those places and do it. If you don't want to do it on Robinhood, I know Robinhood makes it easy to do, and I get it, but there's other brokers out there. Coinbase is probably or CoinDesk. There's other ones. Just do the research. I'm not a crypto expert by any means, so I don't know. It's just blowing up though, so it's becoming the new meme. This is crazy. Wow. Let's see what else. What is the market doing right now? It's actually coming down. Futures are coming down more than they've been, which is kind of crazy. So, I'm not surprised. I think that this is gonna, ultimately, what do you got to do? You got to tank the markets tank the markets down to get everyone's attention away from what's going on and to scare people and whatnot. And people don't want to do that. Keith, appreciate that. Point you in the right direction on Bitcoin, altcoins. Awesome. Okay, awesome. This is like becoming the new thing though. Everybody is all about Dogecoin now. It's just like blowing up. This is crazy. It's like I don't even think you can buy on like I think Robinhood. Let me see if I still have the app. Let me see if you can even buy it. It's like coming up blank. You can't even do it on Robinhood. That's crazy. But yeah, watch for that this weekend. I mean, this is what you're gonna probably. I'll pull up Bitcoin. I need to get the price of what it's doing. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, Bitcoin is not going to be, I guess, manipulated like Dogecoin is. But I mean, Bitcoin's running up, so we're just kind of seeing Bitcoin grinding today, the past day or so. We can pull the 1 hour chart here. Yeah, I mean, it's coming. It's starting to break out of the trend. The rough trend line that we have in there. It's not perfect. We have a rough trend line. Let's see about a bunch of these other stocks. NOK. How is NOK doing today? Realistically, this thing came down and it finished at 469. Yeah, push up a little bit in after hours, but honestly, this one makes like decent sense in terms of like support. I mean, it probably won't come down too much more. Your downside risk is a lot lower with NOK than it is with a lot of other stocks. So we'll see what happens. Man, this is crazy. CPST, I'm in that, right? Yeah, I'm in this one. I'm in CPST. Unfortunately, it's been kind of just pulling back, but I think we're going to get a recovery on this guy. And it's a hot sector. So again, hot sector, we can roughly draw a downtrend here. Hot sector right now, okay? Yeah, we're in that renewable energy sector. This will get a bounce. This will probably recover. I'm telling you. This is why I don't think that these sell-offs that we're seeing on a lot of this is one of those swings I've been in. I'm gonna risk it down to $10 or so, maybe a little bit lower, down to the 50 SMA. So that's my risk, but that's just how my risk tolerance is. I see this thing breaking out of the downtrend and pushing up towards 20 bucks at some point in the near future. It's been up a lot, yeah. So is this a healthy pullback? Probably, but I see the value. They even had some news. I mean, a lot of these stocks you're seeing, they're getting good news, but it's just the market's just ridiculously focused or not focused. It's being pulled in many directions, but it's like you can't, unless you're in the stock that gets the focus. You're kind of getting a little pop here and then pull back and a pop, and it's like you left and right. But that's what we're seeing right now. CTRM. Everyone talks about CTRM. Let's pull this bad boy up. It's up today. Hit over $1 in the pre-market hours, I believe, right? Let's pull it. Yeah, hit 110. Yeah, could it go? It started recovering. A lot of these stocks, they started to recover at the end of the day. So I think tomorrow's going to be interesting. The problem, though, is that, yeah, GBR was why I played HUSA for a day trade on that, too. GBR was nuts. I was surprised that was going to be the top gainer, and it was. It was a top gainer. UWMC, same thing, undervalued play. And that company has billions of dollars in revenue, and it's a $10 SPAC play. No one even knows about it, I think. And it just, with a lot of those SPAC plays, all you need, realistically, is to get analyst coverage and someone to come on and say, hey, this is an undervalued stock. I'm going to slap a $10 or a $20 or $25 price target on it. Someone slaps $25 price target on it, guaranteed in this market, you're going to get a 20-30% pop minimum. So at a minimum, it makes no sense, it makes no sense to sell that stock right now. If you've done the due diligence, if your ideas and thesis behind the stock, behind the trade, whatever, has not changed, all that's changed is that there's been a focus away from whatever stock that is for whatever reason. Things will eventually kind of calm down and we'll get to some sense of normalcy. That's definitely not going to be how it was a few weeks back or even a few months back or even a few, years back. But either way, we'll get back to some sense of normalcy, and I think it's going to be fine. So buying the dips on solid stocks, is honestly is still a solid strategy. That's not going to go away. You're getting a fake out here. You're going to be told, you're getting kind of pulled away just so that here's what's going to happen. There are people that are going to go and chase GameStop. They're going to chase Dogecoin. And all this stuff. And at some point, right, they're going to be chasing that stock and they're going to hold it. And then, eventually it's going to come back down or they're going to have a dip and they're going to freak out, panic sell the dip. They're going to lose money on that. It happens to everyone, right? And this is just kind of playing against, human psychology and human, how this stuff works. You get a dip, you panic sell, someone buys that, it runs it back up. Okay, whatever. Okay, I missed out on that one. Okay, cool. I lost a few bucks. All right, let me go back and find my other stock. You sell your solid stock. For example, let's say it's like COLV, Clove, or whatever stock it is. I don't care. Or even Apple, right? You sell your Apple, you sell your whatever shares because you want to go and get this. Meanwhile, you're catching the end or you're going to get faked out. Then you go back. Meanwhile, Apple's pushing up while you left. You go back to Apple and then you're buying Apple back at the top and then it comes back down. And so there's just a perpetual cycle of continuously losing. And I just don't want people to get caught up in that. Dips are your best friend. Buy dips. There's no need to go all in on stuff, right? There's always another trade, always another crypto. There's always something else you can do, right? What is Doge up to now? What is going on? What is this? What is this? I don't even know. Why is it negative? This makes no sense. Oh man. AMC I think it could be decent. It could still be solid, honestly. As much as it's nuts to say. I mean, realistically, let's look at AMC. Look at the past history of AMC where it was trading at. If we zoom out and look at a little bit of more kind of reality, AMC, a while back, yes, I know it's back. You go back to 2018. AMC was a $20 stock in 2018. Okay, cool, right? Well, it's unjustified now. Fundamentally, who cares about fundamentals? No one cares about that stuff right now. It doesn't matter. It makes a little more sense. I could see it holding up and even going further. I can see that, right? Whereas GameStop, on the other hand, where it's just in completely uncharted territory. It's never been here. So the downside risk obviously is massive. But it was like that first stock. So it's got the most volume. It's got the most attention. It's got the most kind of potential, I guess. I don't know. But that's why that didn't keep going. I mean, it's absolutely insane. But NOK is technically a decent dip buy. I mean, they also have, think about this, NOK with the 5G, with 5G and stuff, this is not at an unreasonable spot. I mean, realistically, right? If you're looking for like a realistic play, this is not at an unrealistic spot to potentially buy some right now. Your downside risk, I mean, this thing is not going to go much below. Like, it's probably not going to go below 4 unless it gets destroyed by shorts, unless shorts come and just kill it, which could certainly happen, right? And then that's part of the rigged game, right, as we say. But those who bought it up here, yeah, you paid a much higher premium for this thing. But NOK at the same time, NOK has a massive, I think this is just like an error on this. This is definitely not negative. NOK, let's pull this up, has a massive float. So they have, what do they got? They got a 5.36 billion shares. So that's how many shares are available to trade to the public. So that's going to take a lot of buying pressure on a lot of money to move this stock. And it happened, right? Yesterday, it happened. But to get it to go again, it's going to need a lot. So once the volume is starting to kind of pull back, I can see it. I can see why it's going to struggle. I can certainly see it. This is just absolutely insane. Man, this is nuts. Robinhood, everything's probably shut. Everything. I don't even think you can probably trade Dogecoin on Robinhood right now. Probably not. This is crazy. I mean, this is just, why is it negative? That makes no sense. Oh man. I don't even know what to, I have absolutely no idea what to expect, but what I am expecting is crypto. I'm expecting crypto. That's what I think is going to happen. And I think what you're going to see, right, is you're seeing Dogecoin, you're seeing this stuff. Once you see people realize that, hey, there's crypto stocks, there's crypto mining stocks, why don't I buy those? Boom, they're going to start blowing up. And they've already blown up, but they've been pulling back with this recent Bitcoin dip. So there, I think it's an opportunity, I think, to grab some crypto-related stocks. And I have some videos talking about stocks, and I talked about some earlier. So if you want to go back, I went over a bunch of those stocks. BlackBerry pulled back. It filled this gap to the downside. So we had this gap, and it filled it. So I would say like we got some support around this area right here. So it looks like it's trying to hold up around 13 to 15-ish area. I mean, personally, I'm not going to buy it, but I mean, that's just me. Everyone can do their own, everyone has their own, risk assessment and is going to do their own thing. It has pulled back a lot. And so for these types of stocks, if they rekindle the fire this weekend, and I would not be surprised, if there's more targeted kind of pushes on a lot of these stocks come Monday, as we get people get a weekend to collect themselves. Wouldn't be surprised if these stocks push again hard next week and even tomorrow. I think we're going to get a pretty big push tomorrow. But yeah, I think Dogecoin is frozen on Robinhood. I don't think you can actually buy it on Robinhood unless you already had it. So that's just Cake is the next short squeeze. Let's pull this bad boy up. Cake, Cheesecake Factory. I mean, it got a little pop. It definitely did, but it didn't make a crazy run, right? But it got a pop 27% short. So I can see it happen. Even SPCE, this is actually nuts. I was pumped. I sold some, but I was pumped with SPCE because I've been holding this thing back from here, like down around like $20 or whatever it was. But this thing's got 27% short. Let's take a peek and take a look at GME. What is the percentage of the float that they have short? Still 121%. I think it's actually down from 140%. What does that mean? People are going out and using leverage to go short on this thing. They're going to get people, if this thing runs again tomorrow, they're going to get crushed again. But at the same time, who knows if there's going to be some more crazy stuff happening. And to sum things up for those who weren't in at the beginning, what we saw was you can look up these interviews on social media, on Twitter, wherever, online. Robinhood's CEO interviewed on CNBC and I believe Bloomberg, at least those two places. And then we also had Weeble's CEO also interview in a couple places. And the Weeble CEO had a couple interviews. And one of the interviews, he just literally peeled back the skin and peeled back the curtain and said, hey, here's how the process works. And he pretty much said that when you go to sell a stock, right? You go to sell a security. It takes 2 days between them and the clearing firm that they work with. Apex is their clearing firm that they work with, right? It takes 2 days for them to then literally like process that whole transaction, and they need the cash. They need to have the cash to be able to have this whole system and process work. And it's pretty confusing, so I don't want to get people super confused. But essentially, it takes 2 days, and if they don't have the cash, right, because there's such massive volume, there's so many shares traded on these stocks, and they're so volatile. So in order for the process to work and for you to actually get filled at the price and sell it at the price that you sold it on the platform for, there's a lot more behind the scenes, and there's a lot of money that they need to have. And so that's why they restricted that. And so until they figured out a process and a plan, that's what happened. But Robinhood CEO, Robinhood uses Apex, I believe, but also they're owned by, or they're dealing with Robinhood, who gives them 40% of their revenue. Okay, this is actually a really interesting, piece right here. This little, I guess, letter. So what happens here is that the Citadel, which is the whole. This is like a whole deeper thing. The Citadel is owned, or Melvin Capital is owned by the Citadel. That's like the kind of the parent company. And then, so basically, Robinhood gave 40% of their revenue to the Citadel. And so since that they know that involvement, that's known. That is known. Also, Robinhood's selling your order data. So Robinhood is selling your order. So you're going to put an order in and you're swiping up and you're thinking you're going to get filled. Well, Robinhood just sold that information to someone else. And so someone knows the market maker knows what you're doing before you even do it. And so you can't get around that, right? But today they're saying that this is illegal and this needs to be looked at immediately and investigated. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes, but the thing is that the CEO just couldn't explain it. And this is why I really can tell you guys, like I'm serious when I say it, go down below and go get your 4 free stocks with Webull, because this confirmed. I was worried at one point today. I was sitting here like, you know what, like Webull banned the trading of 3 stocks, AMC, GME, and then I believe KOSS. And I was sitting here saying, I can't promote Webull anymore. I can't promote the broker that is going to ban these stocks from being bought because they just played in. But it wasn't their call. It was the clearing firm's call. Webull CEO says, hey, he gets the call. He was pissed that the clearing firm tells him that they got to stop this for at least for the time being. And eventually they reopened it up. Robinhood is apparently going to do that tomorrow. But for a lot of people, that's too little too late. They've already screwed people, because guess what happened, right? The theory that a lot of people have is that what happened was we had today where all these shorts piled in, all these shorts come piling in, right? And the stock hits 515. Oh my gosh, it's 515. So the shorts pile in. They know that these clearing firms are about to say, hey, you can't buy anymore. We're going to cut that off. It's a one-way trade. If you can only sell or hold, or there's only a couple brokers, which are not as widely accessible to the average person, right here, what is the average person over the past couple of days who have been buying this stock up? The average person is going to get to a point where they got to cut their losses. They're going to panic sell because they can't afford to lose this money, especially in a pandemic. Let's be honest, right? People went in, people over leveraged. And at the same time, there are people who got taken out of their positions because they were deemed as too high risk at the bottom. I saw someone got taken out at like 118 on Robinhood. That's literally the bottom. And they didn't do it. That was Robinhood saying, hey, we got to cut you off here because we can't afford, you can't afford to lose any more money. Just insane, just absolutely insane. So that's the whole thing. It was a one-way trade once they knew that these clearing firms were going to do this. And so go to the clearing firms. It's not necessarily the Webull or the TD. I don't know. There's deeper stuff going on here with Robinhood because we haven't gotten a clear kind of piece as to what happened. If the CEO can come out, make a statement, come out with a letter and explain everything, whether it's a lie or not. I mean, if it's a lie, that's one thing, right? Obviously, but just come and explain it and say, here's how the process works. Here's why we did what we did. He said, hey, we had the customer in mind and we got your best interest in mind, but we didn't get enough information to say, okay, it makes sense. And that's what I got with the Webull CEO. And so that's why I will still use Webull. I use it because of pre-market hours access. And I'm still going to recommend to grab your 4 free stocks with the link down below. And when you do so, you deposit $100 and you get 4 free stocks. You don't like the platform, you can sell it all, and you're going to get You're going to be able to put $100 in, take a minimum of $121 out, and then go to sign up with like Trade Zero or whatever if you want to do something else. It doesn't matter. But I now can still stand behind that. I was worried for a little while to say that I couldn't, but I can. Robinhood, we're waiting on that. And those people who Robinhood recently came out with that 4 free stock promotion. So I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't personally be able to do that. I understand they're making money from being, promoting the company. I don't think I could do that. If we get more information on it, I wouldn't say just yet. I don't know if I would be able to push that, personally. But we'll see. It's just absolutely insane. What is up with what's up with Doge right now? Let's pull this bad boy up. This thing is super volatile. I mean, we're probably not even getting an accurate representation of the price here. And who knows? And there's probably some mega manipulation going on here too. Bitcoin pulling back, a lot of crypto at least pulling back for the time being. But telling you guys, those who are on here, crypto this weekend, what do you got to do with crypto this weekend? Look to those Bitcoin stocks, okay? I have videos on my channel. Go and check them out. Or what we can do is we can go through a few. What are the top 2, my top 2 go-to crypto stocks that correlate? Bitcoin goes up, they generally follow. They're miners. They mine. RIOT, Riot Blockchain, and MARA, Marathon Patent. These are the 2 that I like the most. And then outside of that, I like MFH, and then I also like NXTD. They have historically ran with Bitcoin in the past, and so they're stocks I'm going to be watching tomorrow. Looking for entries. Ideally, that's what I want to do. Haven't taken positions in them yet. That's what I want to do. And there's certainly many more out there. If you start doing some research, look on Twitter, look on Google, you can start to find a lot more stocks that have ties to crypto. This is probably going to be the hot sector come Monday morning when people wake up, as long as Bitcoin pushes up. If Bitcoin breaks out of this downtrend and pushes up and makes a run up to the mid to upper 30,000s, this is going to be, crypto is going to be hot next week. And especially how we're seeing the manipulation or the supposed manipulation in the market right now. What does that tell everybody? What does that tell everybody, right now? Well, I can't trust the US anymore. I'm going to just go to crypto. Whether they have any idea what that means or not, this could be a pretty big surge into some crypto right now. And so I wouldn't be surprised. And also, it's somewhat time for a push. I mean, we had this massive move up and a pretty, big pullback and sell off. And we established support around 30,000. So we did drop below, momentarily, but we've recovered and held roughly 30,000. So that's at least where my eyes are watching. Don't want to see. I have Bitcoin long term that I'm holding, but we'll see what happens. And so for those who are also new all-nighter, I mean, for those those are on the East Coast. Those on the West Coast. I mean, Webull, what is that? Webull opens up at like 1 a.m. So I mean, why not? Webull pre-market hours open at 1 a.m. on the West Coast. 4 a.m. Eastern is when pre-market hours start. So, I mean, why not? Why not stay up all night? People are going to do it. But what I have found, though, too, is that usually with a lot of stocks, you'll get a quick gap up. I'll look at GME, for example, this morning. You get a gap up and then sell off. So we had a push up, in the first hour or two of the pre-market hours, and then it kind of pulled back. So just be careful of that. My personal expectation, at least what I've been seeing with AMC and even GME, at 4 a.m., if the thing spikes so much, just give it some time. Wait up. There's no rush to get in. That's what I say. Appreciate it, John. Appreciate it. And yeah, you guys hit that thumbs up button. And that is all I ask. And I really appreciate you guys for being here. This is awesome. Well, Bitcoin. What makes me think Bitcoin's going to go up? Again, I don't know enough about. I don't know. I'm not a Bitcoin expert, right? But that said, we are breaking out of it. Technically speaking, I'm very technical in nature, and so I look at trends. That's all I look at for a lot of stocks. We're breaking out of this downtrend. We're breaking out to the upside of this downtrend. Number one. Number two, we're seeing Dogecoin going nuts. So people are starting to realize, hey, when the market's closed, there's crypto we can trade. It doesn't have to just be the market. We can trade other stuff, right? So there's that. And at the same time, there's also the fears. And this whole thing is kind of making people say, hey, you know what? If markets are going to get manipulated, why don't we go to somewhere else? Let's go to crypto. Who's in charge of crypto, right? And I don't know enough. I'm sure there's manipulation there too. But that's just kind of my logical thought process as to what's going to happen. So I'm not surprised. On top of that, stimulus is coming up. We got more stimulus coming, printing some money. There's a lot of bull cases for Bitcoin right now, right? And at the same time, right, there is a finite amount of Bitcoin. I believe it's 21 million Bitcoin that you can have ever. That's it. That's the cap, right? We can print more money here in the US. We can keep printing it, but you can't print more Bitcoin, right? The 21 million is it. right? So once we hit that point, right, which I guess it's like the Bitcoin halving, there's a whole look into that if you want to look into that. I mean, there's much more information out there. But once we get to that point, the demand, right, we have a whole other kind of system. And if you start talking about big banks, big money, they start getting into Bitcoin and they start buying billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, you're talking about ridiculous, money coming in. I think the Bitcoin price, and once that becomes kind of widely known in the media and stuff, you're going to see some surges, I think, in a lot of these things. Appreciate the donation. SNDL. Let's pull it up. SNDL. I like SNDL. It hit 136. I thought I would never see the day where SNDL is over 1 because it's been such a stubborn stock. I made a few bucks on that one last night into this morning. Nothing crazy. It was fairly low risk, but we hit lows here. And SNDL is another one of those stocks I think got banned from Robinhood as well. So it was another one, like at some point, in the morning hours, it was a one-way trade for a lot of people, right? Thing comes crashing down, hits down under 70 cents, then puts in higher lows. I actually like SNDL. I don't think it's over. Other thing to note, this is a cannabis company. There's more cannabis companies here. The bigger trade here, I think, is going to be finding those cannabis companies that have not been found, or finding the ones that have pulled back off of their recent highs, finding those companies and situating yourself in those companies before we start hearing news about legislation going through Congress for the passing of cannabis reform. The second we get that, because there's hype, there's now Democrats control the House, Senate, and the presidency. So with that, we kind of know what's coming. We know what's coming. It's coming, but we have a pullback before it actually happened. So that said, I think that's the big trade. That's the big trade there, and that's one of those things I'm getting ready to start, loading up in. At least I appreciate it. What's the like button record? The like button record is 300 in a stream, I believe. That is the like button record. I know we have the ability right now with the current viewers to break that record right here, right now. So I'd appreciate if you guys did that. Who let the Doge out? The suits. I think that's great. That's great. What is it up to? I mean, I don't even know if we're getting accurate price representation here because I don't even know what I'm even seeing. This dip may not even be real. Negative prices, I don't even understand. But this is crazy. We are in crazy times. This is awesome to look back. Is it legal for Robinhood to hold these stocks? The thing is that technically, right, from what we were told by the Webull CEO, it's not up to them. It's up to the clearing firm. So you got to go to the clearing firms to find out the truth here. That's who you should be pissed at. But until we know what Robinhood's real restrictions were, we don't know if Robinhood did that or if the clearing firm said, hey, they told them, hey, we can't do this. And that's why, or if there's more there. Because Robinhood suspended the purchase of 13 securities. It was more than the 3 that we talk about. It was more than the couple, we talk about. So are they covering up? I don't know. I'm just speculating. I'm not saying this is what happened. Are they potentially covering up, right? What happened? Because maybe they were told on 3 securities that they had to do this, but are they covering up for someone or for some hedge funds or whatever who went heavily and shorted, other stocks that were lesser known? I don't know. And there it is. We have hit the like button record, 300 plus likes. We have well over 350. That's awesome. I appreciate you guys so much for doing so. That is awesome. What do we got? GNUS. GNUS, this is another one of those stocks. This thing was the most stubborn stock. And for those who had bags in SNDL, GNUS from the past couple of months, you have finally been able to free yourself, or at least to a degree, of the bag. Because of some of these runs. GNUS, there are so many people who bought up to GNUS saying, hey, this is the next best thing. This, that, and the other thing, Cartoon Network, the whole cartoon channel, whatever they had going on. All the big investors, big names, and it may be bigger than I personally know as of right now. But people who bought up in GNUS over $10, the thing comes down and holding up around 1. It is finally pushed up to 3 plus. Okay, let's see. Did it hit something in the pre-market and after hours? What did it hit? I think it hit higher. It hit 378. Okay, that was the high. No, okay, of course, it didn't go back up to 10, but if you were able to average down, then boom, you're able to kind of at least take something off the table, and so you were saved. It just took until now. Appreciate the donation. GME, AMC, BB, and okay to the moon. I mean, hey, if I had to pick out of that list my favorite ones, you know, and of course, who knows what will catch on, what will take. GME is probably the biggest one, but AMC is a little more reasonable in terms of the price, and it can go more. And NOK is like you're literally not risking much at all. NOK, of course, you always risk, but look at the NOK chart, and just to get a sense of what we have, looking at NOK, the thing was trading at before this even happened, you know, 425, like 415. You know, it's at after hours at 486. It closed at 469. 50 cent, 75 cent worst case downside risk. You know, is that reasonably, you know, is that much to ask? Like, no, I like that one the most. If I had to pick one, it just has a massive float, which means it's not going to move very fast. But we saw what happened yesterday, so it has the potential with enough volume, unless we got manipulation. So what I think is crazy, though, for everybody who's new, who's seeing what's going on, what you're seeing is what happens. This is the stuff that we see in penny stocks, and that's something that I trade. If you go back in my channel and you look at some videos, I trade penny stocks. I trade sectors that are hot. I trade technical setups, things like that. This is what happens. You learn how to play the game, and I've been learning how to play the game, and I've been playing the game according to, you know, how the game is made. It's rigged. The game's rigged, and we knew that, right? And so I've learned how to play the game, and I've been profitable the past like 15 plus months in doing it that way. And I've been building the account here from scratch on the channel, which has been so fun to do. Still have goals of over 100,000, and from taking it from 15,000 to 100,000 in a year, but ultimately from where it's at, from where I originally started with like a couple $100. So that's ultimately the goal with the account. We'll see what happens. I'm getting crazy, messages here. What am I getting? Nothing. But there are stocks that spike like this all the time. Like I mentioned at the beginning, SPI. Who went crazy? Was everybody on CNBC going crazy when SPI went from $1 to $46? No. But now when GME, GameStop, goes from where it was at to over, $500, it's going nuts. The types of moves we're seeing happen in stocks. People are just not aware. Of of this stuff in the past. But now people are becoming more aware of it, and so I can see it. PLTR, what's up, PLTR? This is one that I think it sold off quite a bit. It's been pretty volatile though, but it popped. It had a beautiful push off of kind of this, somewhat of a uptrend, whatever you kind of want to put in, bouncing off 25 or pushing up from 25, hitting 45, pulling back a little bit today, but a lot of these stocks pulled back today. So, insane. The only thing though, that we got to be careful of and be ready for this tomorrow, same exact situation as today. Same exact situation. When the market opens, 9:30 a.m., brokers are going to go down yet again. Whether it's because you can't buy, you can't sell, whether Robinhood actually comes out and says, no, you know what? We said we're going to let you buy, but actually we're going to pass. We're not going to do that. Whether it's for that reason or whether it's because there's just crazy volatility, whether it's crazy madness, whether it's everybody running from Robinhood to Webull to TD Ameritrade to E-Trade to Trade Zero, just be careful. Whether your broker is reliable or not, they run the risk of just having a volume issue. And just make sure you're careful with that. I'd be careful about initiating, large positions around the market opening because it's a somewhat of a scary time. Someone's mentioning HEXO. This is actually one of those cannabis plays I like. I like HEXO. So like what we're seeing is, right, we had the peak like a week or two back, right? They've been slowly coming back down, and now they're trying to develop some support. So this is where I kind of like a lot of these cannabis stocks. Like let them come back down, let them slow up, support. ACB, Aurora Cannabis, kind of bouncing off this $10, holding $10 support. There's a bigger run here for a lot of these cannabis plays once we get official, legislation in Congress, and that's the next push. So for those who are just jumping in now, I appreciate you guys so much. Hit the thumbs up button. We're going to wrap things up here fairly soon because we've been going on for like an hour or so. You can go back and replay, the beginning, what we talked about. We talked about a couple key things about what's going on overall. My thoughts for what's going to happen. We're seeing what's happening with Dogecoin right now, cryptocurrency. Look at Bitcoin. We're seeing, my thoughts is that this weekend, everyone's going to rotate to crypto. And, we're going to go at Fidelity. Okay, I see Fidelity. People are saying Fidelity's been fine. People are going to rotate into crypto. And so be ready for that. So I'm looking to accumulate a couple crypto-related stocks tomorrow that have, mining and whatnot, have ties. And if that's, I'm looking for that into next week, anticipating a crypto push this weekend. Maybe it doesn't happen. Maybe it does. That's just my take on what I think is going to happen. And then we'll see, and we'll go from there. And then, of course, cannabis stocks, start looking at some of those to accumulate some of those into potential legislation going forward. That's my take. I think those are going to be very hot. Before we wrap things up, Fubo pulled back today. Again, Fubo was crazy because if we look at Fubo, pull this bad boy up on FinViz. There's a link down below for FinViz as well if you want to check out this site. You can just type it in as well if you want to. Fubo, 75% of the float is short. So Fubo, with a big down day today, this could be another squeezer tomorrow or even next week. So this is going to be nuts. GME, I mean, there's still a massive amount of shorts in GME. I think a decent amount or, a good amount covered today potentially because you got a pretty big pullback from 500 plus to, from where it's at. But I think, I'm telling you, I think these are going to be, there's still potentially more here. And I think the fire is just being kind of rekindled with all these things happening. So we'll see what happens. This is going to be nuts. Last second check here at futures. Looks like the market's going to be down tomorrow. It was up pretty significant today, but it looks like it's going to go down tomorrow. Futures are telling us down. So we'll see what happens. I'm curious to see if I can finish out the week green. That's what I want to see. It's been a challenging week, and my strategy has been completely flipped on its head, but that's fine. I'm fine with it because I was playing the game as it has been, set in front of us. I've been learning the game, and of course, you're always learning. Things are always adapting and changing, but now it's being flipped on its head, and I love it. I'm not against it, although I'm not making much money in it, and people are killing it. But I'm not because I've been playing the game the way that I've been, I've learned it, in the past. But that's fine. You adapt or you die. That's how it is. So I appreciate you guys for joining in. If some stuff happens tomorrow, we'll probably go live as well tomorrow. This has been awesome. Thank you guys so much. Hit the thumbs up button on the way out. 500 likes. We're so close. 500 likes. That is a record. The previous record was like 300 on the live stream. 500 is nuts. That is crazy. You guys are awesome. Stay green tomorrow. Don't be stupid. Make sure you have everything. Don't be going in with money you can't afford to lose. If you're doing it for a bigger purpose than just to kind of make money, and you're doing it for a bigger purpose to get back at the system, to get back at the hedge funds, I see it. I hear you. But just make sure you buy and you just do it with money that you can afford to lose. So you're part of the game and you can look back. And this is going to be one of those things that, however this changes the system for years to come, people are going to look back on this, years from now, and this is going to be big. So we're part of something crazy. This is nuts. Thank you guys so much. We will go live again. If you have not already, grab your 4 free stocks with Webull. That's a link down below in the pinned comment and description box or description box. That is to get 4 free stocks with Webull. They're $21. It's $21 free minimum. There's also links to M1 Finance, other things as well if you want to check it out. Don't use Robinhood, right? You just stay away from Robinhood because you don't know what they're going to do. They're not going to let you buy certain stocks. We got clarity on the Webull CEO. He seems like a legitimate guy. He had a legitimate explanation and reasoning, and he was not happy with it. But he at least pulled back the curtain, let us see into what's going on behind the scenes. We have not gotten that clarity from Robinhood. So something's going on. We'll have to see how this plays out. I hope there's nothing sketchy going on, but I have my doubts as well. So again, that's just speculation at this point. Thank you guys so much. Hit those links down below. Hit the thumbs up button on the way out. We're going to hit almost 600 likes. This is insane. I appreciate every single one of you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow. Stay green, and good luck.